what's really funny is right before we started, we almost had like a mini argument. Hi, welcome to Relationship Strategies with Frannie and Dani.
Yes.
We were
You're
talking
almost.
about how funny it is that we're both wearing red glasses. And I said, let's start with it and talk about it. And then Dani went, oh, we're both wearing red glasses, then I'll take them off. And I'm like, the whole point is we're just going to talk about how silly it is. Because isn't it true, honey, that like sometimes people will say, do you guys like intentionally dress in the same colors?
No.
Do we ever?
We just realized we're wearing the same glasses when we got to the elevator.
Always
said,
when we
"Wait a
get to
second,
the elevator.
We have the same
Or
glasses.
even the same like coats. It's odd. Like he
The
might.
other day I wore orange shirt, she wore an orange dress.
Oh,
You know, we didn't plan it.
everything is vibrational when you live together for a certain amount of time, and even if you know you basically just blend with each other, and that's really the genesis of why we wanted to share this relationship strategy series, because you want to maintain self with everything, your connection to love, God, goddess, whatever you want to call it, you know, the big apple pie in the sky.
Right.
We're all from the unified field of love. And as much as couples, whether it's relationships or business couples, or just being by yourself, if we're not connected to love, then, you know, we have a crappy time in life.
Right, and color is part of love, you know.
Color is part of love. Dopamine dressing is part of joy.
Plan, you know, we just have a lot of colors of clothes, you know. And
you start to
mesh, you know.
You start to mesh with the other person when you spend a lot of time together.
Yes, yes.
And what we've discovered, I would say, tell me if you agree or disagree with this, honey, is, you know, it's very easy to want the other person to behave exactly like you when, you know, whether it's business again or romance, you know, even though I'm perfect, Dani always, you know, doesn't always understand that, which is a shame for him. But the truth
most of the time she's perfect.
No, but we both, okay, so intercultural relationships. Obviously, Dani has this say cottage cheese. I love this.
Cottage cheese.
Now, he's not saying it with as much cuteness.
Cottage cheese.
Cottage. Is that cute? And coffee. Like, there's some words.
Cottage.
There's no matter how cute I try, I cannot sound as fabulously exotic. And obviously, Dani's from the Middle East. I'm from originally.
I thought I'm from Mars and you're from Venus.
Oh, here we go. Funny guy. I'm originally from Canada, but I, you know, lived in the States for decades now. And so it's not just intercultural relationships when you come from a different country, you speak a different language, and all of those cultures. But each of us, whether we're both from, if we were both from Canada or the States, that's the big C culture. There's a small C culture, which is how did your parents behave? What was your intergenerational behavior in your familial experience? Because, like in my case, you know, I grew up in sort of a war zone because my parents are survivors, but they had a lot of lack mentality when it came to you know, fear. There was always a fear that there's like another war around the corner, and there's that sort of survival fear. We were moneyed, you know, my dad was an eye surgeon, and there's, you know, all kinds of affluence in that regard, in the sense that we didn't want for anything, but there was a lack of safety mentality. So there was that anxiety. So that's something I spent, you know, and continue to celebrate as peace is a very big deal to me. And what about you, sweetheart?
I came from a family that was actually kind of poor. We didn't have a lot of money. I grew up in an area where there's war all the time. Every Monday or Tuesday there's a different war. So it was pressure all the time, you know. I mean, we used to scream and yell in the house all the time. It was pressure all the time, constant pressure, you know. And it was very, very hard to relax. Extremely hard to relax.
So there was hard to relax. Yes. So there was always that tension. And my family, even though there was a lack mentality of safety, there was an elegance. My dad was Viennese. My mother was, you know, kind of German, but what they used to call high German. So you know, not marijuana, haha, but a high, like a certain, you know, kind of elegance.
Like high society.
High society. Although neither of them came from, you know, affluence. There was manners were a big deal. So, and Dani, coming from the Middle East, has what would you say in terms of manners?
Manners, if you counted from 1 to 0, 1 to 10, my house was half a one.
One half of
Versus
one.
in our house, it was
Right.
like 8, 9, you know.
So some of our Danny's a real gentleman, obviously, or we wouldn't be together and all
Right,
that.
right.
But when he gets stressed out, there is a different go-to, and he thinks it's normal. And like, for example, like when we're cooking together, I love cooking with Danny, but he can like be a dominatrix in the kitchen, and he's also a chefy. But he will, and it's like I want to put on, like, we're cooking Italian food. I put on Italian music
Yes.
loud, and I love to sing
Yes.
and have a glass of wine with
Yeah.
him while we're cooking. But he will dominate and get stressed out as like it's almost like it's innate.
Right.
But it's not. It's just practice. Everything is practice.
Yes.
And this is what I've had the luxury of, teaching and leading, different forms of workshops and so forth for a long time. And it's something that took me a long time to figure out. I really feel that, like, so the best solution, because I know what a great guy Danny is, and he just forgets how loved he is, and that peace. When you're not brought up with peace,
Yeah.
how for freak's sake, how are you supposed to know that peace is actually an
Right.
option?
You have to find it.
And it actually is good for you, and doesn't give you things like high blood pressure,
yes,
right? And
yes.
or
Yeah.
all kinds of anxiety
Yeah.
or stomach issues, whatever.
You learn to relax. It takes a long time, but you learn to relax.
Well,
You
it's all
find it.
practice, right? It
Yes.
took me a while
Yes.
because, so what we do, a great solution that we wanted to offer, and it's funny, I had a couple of friends ask me how I handle things because we've been married for
18 years.
1800 years, 18 years, and together for 20 this
20
incarnation.
years, yes.
And how do you handle it when you guys have like differences of opinion? And Danny knows this, and I've shared it with friends, and they were like, wow, I've never been able to do that. I'm going to try that in my relationship. And it
Yeah.
works so well, and we're not going to tell you what. See you later. Bye-bye.
No.
No, we are going to tell you.
This war.
This works so well. So like when was it? A couple weeks ago, we were cooking literally
Yeah,
in the kitchen. And Danny was
Bear in
like,
mind, we have a very small kitchen. We have 1-bedroom apartment with very small kitchen.
yeah, but
It's right on the intercoastal. It's very nice view, but
Yeah.
it's very small kitchen.
Yeah, that's not an excuse. we've been in very large places too. Stress will follow you unless you get conscious. That's been my experience. What do you think, sweetie?
Yes.
Good try though, A for effort. So he was like really all over the place. It was like I said, like,
I was a
honey,
hyper cooker.
Why don't you? Why chill out? What's going on here? Oh, we have to do this. I'm like, what is there? Is there a fire? What's going on? Is
When
there?
you're cooking couple pots at the same time, you rush that everything is going to be
So,
perfect. So it's kind of little
Danny's
bit,
seen a lot of episodes of, maniac cooking, maniac chefs or something. So I said, sweetheart, I'm going to go have a Frannie party. I'll be back. I love you. I believe in you. You make dinner. I'm going to go out for a little bit and have a Frannie party.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to feel bad. Have fun. And I'll be back. And so he's gotten used to it that if it's like no fun, instead
Goodbye.
of having some sort of thing where I'm trying to control him or control the situation by calming it down, I get the freak out. And he finds his way back. And and so it's a beautiful thing. It's a respectful
I
thing.
realized something is nicht kosher, so something is not right. So she took off, and I said, okay, something is not right. So I went after her, and we talked about it, and we said, this
But
is it.
even if he doesn't talk about it, like the other piece, and we've shared this before, and we'll probably repeat
Yeah.
a lot of these because people are really giving us feedback about how valuable and helpful it is. What a wonderful thing to do is, like, let's say I was feeling heated about it, but I know Danny has a beautiful soul. I know
Yeah.
who he is. It's often just a different learned way
Right.
of coping.
Exactly.
And I'm all about
Right.
peace and calm and centeredness.
It's a different way
It's
of
a different way.
coexist together,
Coexist, baby.
Yeah,
but
coexist.
but with fun. I mean, I'm playful. I'm not bored. Am I boring?
Not at all. The opposite.
But I mean, I'm really like I try to make peace central, and I lose my as well. But really try to. So the way that I'll handle it, for example, if I go to have a Frannie party, instead of calling him and going, even when I'm I will talk into my phone and
Yeah.
record it. There are different, all kinds of devices that we have, but you can leave,
Messages.
a message that is written, and you can edit it and edit. You don't want to text somebody when you're upset ever,
No.
We never take any kind of like action when we are feeling out of sorts, because you're going to attract what you put out. We're magnetic, right, baby?
Yeah.
We're magnetic. Look, we
Magnetic,
attracted
yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
So I'll leave, you know, how I feel in for him with love, in as a message, and give it to him the next day. Like,
Yeah, or a
what's
couple
the-
hours later, you know.
At least, but usually I prefer the next day when somebody is just chilled out. Don't do
Relax,
it at
yeah.
night before bed.
No.
And you don't ever have to be upset or have an argument again.
And then the next day when I read the message, we talk about it and we get the conclusion what to do for next time. So next time if it's happened, I will pay attention to this kind of condition. We will pay attention and it's not going to repeat himself, you know.
And we have to be honest, it's taken a while to get here
Yeah.
because of our small c cultural differences.
Yes.
Do you know? But luckily we're here and it's so much more fun.
Yes.
And if we can help anybody navigate stress, which is an inevitable part of
Right.
business relationship,
Yeah.
romantic relationship, and most importantly,
Things come up.
relationship with yourself.
Yes.
If you can't find peace
Yes.
and calm and centeredness with yourself, let's say, and you're beating yourself up for having made a decision, it's the same idea.
It will come up in the relationship.
Whether you're beating someone else up, you know, emotionally, and or mentally, you know, or yourself, it's the same stuff. So we love you very
We
much.
love you very much. Hopefully you learn something from our...
There will be a quiz.
We learn something from our experience.
Will there be a quiz?
It will be a quiz, yes.
And, you know, just peace and love and joy
Enjoy.
on planet Earth, babies.
Love you guys.
We love you.
Bye-bye.